Thank you, Joy. To start with, I think that in answering the question of purpose, people many times try to look inside of them, which is not bad, but I think having that as a first step is the issue. Where you think, okay, let me look at my gifts, let me look at the things I like to do, let me look at what I'm passionate about. These things are good and they have its place, but I think that when that takes preeminence or has its priority, then many people would lose the answers that they're trying to find. Many people assume that purpose should be found, like, oh, I found purpose. No, it's a thread. The more you live life, the more you answer questions, the more you serve, the more you just make yourself useful. Oftentimes, people who live life and live it being fulfilled will tell you, serve others. Just be useful. Even in the name purpose is you're trying to find what is the use of a thing. So in any form, in any place, in anywhere, any situation you find yourself being useful and you're faithful there, chances are that you would live a purposeful life.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy Abia and you're welcome to another episode on the Femme Space. Today I have a beautiful, wonderful guest with me and her name is
Temitope Bamishaye. Hi everyone.
Hi Temi. Okay, so you're gonna start by introducing yourself, telling us what we need to know. That is like the professional side and the fun parts of you.
Okay. Hi guys. My name is Temitope Bamishaye and I am first a Christian and then I found an NGO called Image Tributants. We focus on meeting the rehabilitation, welfare and legal needs of inmates in Nigeria. Also a thought leader when it comes to AI and privacy. What I do for fun. I love having conversations with my friends. I love to sleep, as weird as that may sound. What other thing do I do for fun? Joy knows me a lot. Joy, what do I do for fun? I love seeing movies as well. Thank you.
Temi talks for fun. She likes to talk. Yeah. She's a yapper like me.
Anyway, so today we are discussing purpose, right? How women can build purposefully. And because we are entering into a new year, we know that there could be a lot of pressure for the young African woman on what to do next, how to build my goals, where I should go, what should I do, and all of those things. I know that a lot of women have those burning questions. At some point in my life, I think I had some episodes like that. I did have those times where it's like I was questioning everything that I was doing. And each time at each season, it's time, whenever you get those questions, I always like to sit down with myself, sit down with, God and just like really think about the things that I'm doing. And one question always comes to mind in those kind of times. It's like, I don't want to I wouldn't say it's a question, but it's like a phrase or something, or just a mantra, right? I say, I don't want to do anything if it doesn't have meaning in the kingdom of God, because I'm a Christian too. So if it doesn't have any meaning, God, I don't want to do it. So one of the things that I love about Temi is that she is a people-driven person and also very purpose-driven. Everything that she does, she puts her heart into it. And that is actually why I have brought her here today. So Temi, tell us what you think a woman should know about purpose. What really is purpose? And before we get into the other things,
Thank you, Joy. To start with, I think that in answering the question of purpose, people many times try to look inside of them, which is not bad, but I think having that as a first step is the issue. Where you think, okay, let me look at my gifts, let me look at the things I like to do, let me look at what I'm passionate about. These things are good and they have its place, but I think that when that takes preeminence or has its priority, then many people would lose the answers that they're trying to find. I think that when you want to know the purpose of a thing, you should ask who created the thing, right? For instance, when you look at a chair, and a child walks up to you and asks, mommy, or Auntie Joy, please, what is that chair made for? You're thinking like you're not the manufacturer, but you're going to actually answer based off of the fact that you're thinking from where the manufacturer was thinking from. They wanted to solve a need. The need was people need to get comfortable when they're in places. If there were no chairs here and we were standing and doing this show, it was going to be very difficult. And so the manufacturer thought, what can I do to solve this problem? And then they solved that problem. Well, guess what? There are different chairs in different spaces. The chairs in laboratories are not the chairs in your parlor, your sitting room, which actually also means that while there might be a common need that a person or a thing is supposed to solve, there are also different assignments. So to answer the question of purpose, I'll start with this. What has God said purpose is? And again, I started this podcast saying I'm a Christian. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 15, verse 5, it talks about how someone died for us. His name is Jesus. And the fact that he died for us, he wants us to live his life, right? And so, to cap it all, purpose is knowing Christ and making him known from a Christian perspective. Now, scholars like William Damon would say, to think about purpose, you're thinking about three elements. You're thinking first about, okay, is this something I want to do for a long term? Secondly, is it something I find meaningful? And finally, is it something that has benefits to others? When you can bring these three together, that's your purpose. But you see how big that is? Because there's so many things you can think of, and say, okay, I think I can do this for a long time. I think it's meaningful to me. And I think it will benefit others. But many times people run with that mindset, get to the end of their lives and realize, I wasted my life. So I think that when we want to answer the question of purpose, it's best we just go to the manufacturer. You know what, God? What am I supposed to be doing? So I think, and finally, on answering what purpose is, I think that many people assume that purpose should be found. Like, I found purpose. No, it's a thread. The more you live life, the more you answer questions, the more you serve, the more you just make yourself useful, you realize you're living purpose already. So I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did very well. Thank you, Tammy. So thank you so much, Tammy. Right, you have explained purpose from a Christian perspective, and you've already gone ahead to tell us what another scholar said about purpose. Now, for those who do not believe in, who are not Christians, who are other forms of religions, and maybe don't even believe in any religion at all, how exactly do you want to explain this purpose that you've just spoken about to them?
The question you've asked me is like saying to someone who has given an answer based off of, I think this is what the manufacturer thinks purpose is, right? And saying, but what if someone that doesn't believe in the manufacturer, asks this question about purpose, what's going to happen? This is what I would say. I would say it's actually still very possible for them to be purpose. When they look at service, when they point to, how can I be of service to anyone around me? Anyone who I think is doing something confidently and long term. How can I serve this person? Many times, oftentimes, people who live life and live it being fulfilled will tell you, serve others. Just be useful. Even in the name purpose, is you're trying to find what is the use of a thing. So in any form, in any place, in anywhere, any situation you find yourself being useful and you're faithful there, chances are that you would live a purposeful life. I just want to say this because when I was talking, I just remembered something. When I was in my year 2 in school, I was volunteering. Oh my God, I used to volunteer different NGOs. I did not at the time plan or think I was going to start an NGO. I just wanted to help. It was really just that. I just wanted to help. I'd read some books, so I was just like, how can I help? A few years down the line, I'm starting my own NGO. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just happens like that. That the more you serve, the more you're willing to help others. And there's this movie, I think New Amsterdam, the doctor would come and it was a new director there. So the first meeting they had called everyone together. And the first question he asked is, how can I help? And every episode that followed after the first episode was a thread of everyone having that mindset, building that mindset. Oh, you know what? We're here to serve. We're here to help. And along the line, their stories began to form. So I think that's how I'll answer the question of purpose to anyone who doesn't believe in God or anyone who is not coming from a Christian perspective. I think the first thing I'll tell them is serve others. Serve others, people who you believe are doing something great and worthwhile. Just volunteer your time. That's one. Secondly, be faithful in whatever thing that you're doing, no matter how big or small, even if it's a business you're doing. Just be faithful. Give it your best shot. Give it everything you've got. Who knows? You might be the next Elon Musk, right? So serve others, be faithful, and maybe gather more knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Tammy, you're so intelligent.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So now we are still on the topic of, this is still the Femme Space, right? We have approached this from a general perspective. Now let's talk directly to a woman, because let me draw from a lot of from personal experience too, right? I also was in that place where, I've been in a place where I've actually sat down to do a lot of mathematics, psychology, everything on myself. I'm someone who is so analytical. So I look at my life in a very push up, I'm unfolding everything, making I'm this little detail of my life, it should mean something and it should be added to what I'm supposed to do on this earth, but before I even truly understood what purpose was about, I used to I'd come from it from the place of, okay, now I grew up with this very big interest in the finance industry. Now I'm okay, my purpose is for the finance space. Then another time I just got so interested in, everything, writing, creativity. And I'm okay, creativity is my purpose. I have really seen, I've been in that place of, that haze of thinking everything that I love, everything that is given to me is my purpose. And I'm okay, how do I, because now I have, because we, even in this generation, we have a lot of women who are multifaceted, that have a lot of interests. They have a lot of places, parts of them that they want to explore. But I think maybe because of the digital space, the fact that you can open an Instagram account for everything now that you love, I think that is even part of the problem. That's okay. Ultimately, I love fashion, so I'm going to open a fashion page. I love finance. I'm going to start teaching about fashion, about finance. I love people, and I just love community. I'm opening, and then oh my God, it just gets stuck. So help us understand, especially for women, how do we define ourselves purposefully and, the things that we do?
Okay. I think your question is multifaceted. I think one of the first questions you're asking is for the woman who is multi-graced, she has different things that she can do, and how to navigate purpose as a woman.
No. Okay, so before we go to the multifaceted person, I'm saying for a woman, just a woman now, what's her purpose now? I've mentioned multifaceted, I've mentioned a lot of interests. I'm also talking about in terms of, the gender issue, all of those things. Is it my purpose is in the home or is it outside? All things like that. So how do you really would define, ask a woman to define that kind of purpose for herself?
I understand the question.
Thank you.
I'll start by saying something that when I was preparing for, I found out. There's this Harvard scholar, her name is Mary Collin, who found out that when women are young, from age 4, 5, right from when they're girls, something happens to them. Somehow in most societies, the average African society, they build in those girls a quiet voice. So they silence their inner voice, one. They remove or reduce their ability to lead. They reduce or make them channel most of their energy to specific expectations. Oh, home, do well academically. In fact, there was a time girls did not even used to go to school. But then it was like, just be at home, do well academically, just be polite, do not offend anyone. And most of these girls grow up to be very passive, grow up to just want to do things to meet people's expectations. And so you realize this is a full-grown woman who has no mind of her own, who doesn't know how to build. Because building anything takes a lot of courage, takes a lot of boldness. But like she's like, I don't think I can. I think I'm just going to be comfortable here. So for such a woman, who is most women, for such a woman, I would say to start with that when God created man and woman, there was no dichotomy. There was no hierarchy. The first thing they would need to learn is to come out of that mindset, which will take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of reading. It will take a lot of looking at examples and trying to mirror your life after them. It will take a lot of, I need to come out of this mindset. Because, I had a conversation with a guy, forgive me, one time. And he said something.
Forgive you for what?
I don't want to, He said something that I realized was very core to the mindset of so many guys. He said, Temi, the fact that God created guys first and women second is the meaning of that is that guys are always meant to lead. And I understood where it was coming from.
Yeah.
But if you use that mindset, that means animals were meant to lead. Because animals were created before.
Man.
And so I had to explain to him that it's not about who came first. You have to understand that God is a God of order. And because he's a God of order, when you actually look at Genesis chapter 1, the way God actually created us, he created them male and female. But because of order, there was already the garden, there were animals, there was the sky, everything was created. So he was like, you know what, man, you come first for order, and then it's not good that you're alone, no. And then woman. So it wasn't even an afterthought, it was for order.
I mean, even when you read the Genesis, you read a man and woman, he created them before you even see that, okay, he made the man first and then the woman. So he had already formed them in the spirit, right? Before.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so how I claim about this knowledge is a book I would like to recommend called When God Met a Feminist by Bisola Badejo. Okay. Now, why I started from that perspective is to draw a balance, is to say, the help that a woman averagely born in Nigeria or Africa would need is for her to come out of that mindset that you need anyone's approval, you need anyone's permission, you need anyone's validation to do what you want to do. My dear, do what you want to do. Everybody will live their lives. If you die today, they would cry, they would mourn. After a few, maybe some people close to you, maybe years, but some people weeks and they're back to their life. Some people one day, they're back to their life. So I think the first thing for that woman to know is go ahead and do you. Do you understand? Go ahead and do everything that you feel like is a crazy idea in your mind that you want to do. Do it.
Yeah.
And the second thing I would say to such a woman is fail fast, and I would explain. My brother told me his definition of fail, and he said it was a teacher that told him, and I was like, this is so brilliant. Who is this teacher? Fail. He said, first attempt in learning. I'm like, that is actually so profound because it's true. I think most women are so afraid. Oh my God, what will people say? Oh my God, what if it does not blow? Oh my God, what if I don't make any money? Fail first. Because that way you learn the mistakes you've made. That way you know what not to do. And that way you know what to do better. And so the good thing, or what has made people like Elon Musk, people like Steve Barrett, people like Joy Abia, the people that they are today, is that they tried things. It didn't work out. They packed it up and moved on to other things. There's this thing they say about the founder of Coca-Cola. I have never researched it, but it's a story we've been told since we were young. That before the formula was found, he had tried so many things. Yeah. Failed at it. Imagine he failed at the second attempt or the third. He stopped, at the second or third attempt. We will not have Coke today. And Coke is still buzzing all over the world today. So I think the second thing I'll tell such a woman is fail. Fail fast. Don't be afraid of failing. Just be failing and be moving on. What happens eventually is she begins to find her niche. She begins to find the areas that she's good at, and she just begins to find her passion, which will lead me to the third thing. Do not think that the thing you would do that would mean something to you, cause fulfillment in you, would necessarily come from your passion. No, it will not. Many times. Is it possible to do something that you're passionate about and get money from it or find purpose in it? Definitely. But many times, not necessarily. When Joy was introducing me, she said, oh, I give my heart into everything I do. I'm very passionate. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm saying ha, ha, ha because inside of me, I know I'm not actually as passionate about the things I do. The theory behind what I do is I need to get the work done. Lives are at stake. And maybe I will make some money from some of it. So that's the motivation. Lives are at stake. I need to get the work done. Maybe I'll make some money from it. Okay, let's do it and let's give it our best. Why? When I was young, I feel like right now I'm rambling.
She's taking over my show, but it's okay.
I'm going to stop now. I'll stop with this story. When we were young, we used to stay with some of our cousins, and the eldest cousin would always tell us, oh, whenever you're sweeping, sweep well. Whenever you're washing the plates, wash your. She used to tell us those things because sometimes we'll sweep under the rug, and maybe when we're washing the plates, we'll just rinse it, we won't wash it. But she ingrained that mindset in us. And I grew up with that mindset. So it was like, whatever I would do, I would give it my best. It would be like, I would just give it my all, right? And if my all is not enough, I've tried. Do you understand? Yeah. So I think that's the third thing I would say. Yeah. That just don't think your passion would be the thing that, your purpose, you find purpose in. Not necessarily. Many times it doesn't even happen that way. It just happens that many people saw problems and wanted to solve it, and they decided they were going to solve it, and boom, they became the next big thing. Somehow they weave their purpose around it. Somehow they die leaving a legacy for their children and generations upon. So yeah, thank you,
Timmy. Okay, that was loaded. Some real loaded advice. Like it is so true that a lot of women there's this fear that most times you don't even know that you have as much. You don't even know until you're about to enter some spaces and you're like, oh my God, this is fear. Like you actually identify, you actually have to sit down and identify that emotion, and you know that this is actually fear. And I did not know I felt fear like this. Fear is not the one that you were in a dark closet that you were like this, but fear can manifest itself in so many forms. And for women, there's the reason why, for example, spaces like the Femme Space are coming to, life right now is because, not just because I wouldn't say women have been backward for so many years. I wouldn't say that, but I would say that because of the, so many, should I call it, I think, the word, I can't exactly find the word right now, but there's just been so much stigmas, I think, stigmatizations and stuff like that for when it comes to women. And now it's necessary that we help you find your voice. It's necessary we help you find what you're meant to do, because guess what? It may not, even if you choose a path that says, there are lots of women that some of them is like, oh, I just want to, maybe that's in their heart, to build a home, raise children that understand, life in a solid way, and they're building leaders. That for them, that's the, a path that they will choose, and they'll do it well. Every place that you find yourself is a place to, fulfill purpose. And when you try more things, when you give yourself to more, oh my God, I think I can say I'm the queen of trying many things.
She is actually,
I keep saying that in every other episode.
Right now, she has a business.
I have done it. I have failed so many times since, I can't remember the year. But the thing is, I almost got trapped into the fact that because I had tried a lot of things and not even one had seemed to work in a sense, I almost fell back into the fear that, okay, maybe nothing else, but you will go again, and that's the one way that you really find yourself and find, where, you grow more in purpose when you give yourself to things and then just come out of that fear. It's not only men that are meant to do all those other things. Do it with your heart, do it with joy, with fun and all of that. And you'd really see that, life is worth living and doing the things that you love to do. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Okay.
Sorry. I just, as you were talking.
Please do not apologize.
Okay. 2 things came to my mind I didn't mention. The first is to the I call them multi-graced, but there's ladies who have so many passions, so many interests, so many gifts, so many things that they can do. I can write, as you can see, I can speak. Aside that, I act. I'm actually a very good actress. I'm very good. I'm not even trying to bluff. I lead an NGO, so I've been there. I know what it feels like to be in a space where you're like, so which one do I do? And it's amazing that I've seen people who just have one thing they're good at and they give it their all. And they don't know how blessed I feel like they are. Like, at least when I was in that season of confusion, it was like, how? Because I have this friend who is into drama and everything. So that's what he does. Script writing, drama, anything that has to do with acting, he's there. And now he has built his career in that line. He has direction. But for many ladies who are multi-talented, it's difficult. Oh, by the way, I play the guitar. I can drum as well.
And she can sing.
She
writes songs.
So it was difficult. I didn't know where to start from. I didn't know what to do. And when I asked God, this was what he told me. Be faithful in the one that you're already doing. And that's what I would say to anyone who is multi-talented. Do one first and be faithful. Eventually, every single one will lead to
something.
Other ones. They will find expression in other ways. So it's important that you're at least faithful in one. You build something out of that. And then eventually you branch out. That's one thing I want to say. Okay, I think you want to say something. Okay. Before I say the second thing.
Okay, no, before you say the second thing, like... Okay. How we stayed here, I just feel like it's meant to be, right? Okay. But so speaking on those who are multifaceted too, I'm also there. I've been there too. And what Temi says is right, is correct. Focus, start with one thing and every other thing will branch out.
Yeah.
Right. But then also there's this space where you have all these things, all these gifts, or all these things that you wish to do and you wish to, fulfill. Right. For example, now Temi has an NGO. There was a time I'm so passionate. I'm also very passionate about people. Right. Yeah. And one time was like, okay, maybe I should start an NGO or maybe I should start. But I sat through it on that idea and I'm like, there are things that you do not have to do by yourself. If you see someone else doing that thing that you love, support it. That's a way to fulfill that heart, the side of that heart of that. You be a part of what someone else is doing. Yeah. And also in the things that you are doing, right? I have a proper prioritization. That results from each of these, I do not expect each result in the same capacity. That's why I'm not going to give myself in the same, capacity to all of these things, right? You know how to measure your time, measure what you're doing per time, and then you give it, based on prioritization. I feel like that is what will save a lot of multifaceted ladies out there. Just choose the first one, the first priority, give it to that. And then, and it happens in seasons, if this season is like, I'm giving to this, you would always know. So Temi, I think Temi wants to say something and I think we'll wrap up with that.
Oh, okay. The last thing I was going to say, or the second thing I wanted to say was add a meaning to what you're doing. Most of the thriving businesses today are thriving, not necessarily because they just wanted to make profits. They're thriving because beyond making profits, they added a meaning. Like they couched an idea behind their business. They couched a feeling that they wanted their customers to feel behind their business. And the reason I'm hinging on this point is it helps with resilience as well.
Mhm.
Sometimes when the going gets bad, when you're like, I don't think I can, I'm tired. When you remember the meaning you attached to that thing, you're like, nah,
I gotta
I'm going
go.
to do it.
Mhm.
So that's also
That's the same thing that Karina also said in the last episode. And it is so crucial. And I'm happy that we had Tammy here today, because this is, as long as you're listening to the Femme Space and you're part of this community, we will not hear confusion as part of your story anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to change going forward, because we believe that if you keep listening to episodes from the Femme Space, listen to everyone we bring here. It is very purposeful and curated for your being, for you to grow and grow purposefully too. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Femme Space. See you in the next episode. Again, I am Joy Abia and I remain your host. Thank you.